Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're talking about something we all deal with. Why people crave attention, why we feel the need to tell everyone our goals, and why working in silence is often the real secret to success. And here's the twist. My guest today isn't human. It's ChatGPT as an expert in psychology, human behavior, and emotional intelligence. It's going to explain exactly what happens in our brains when we seek validation, why announcing our goals can sometimes hurt our progress, and how silence can actually make us more disciplined and focused. So let's dive in. ChatGPT, to start, why are people so addicted to attention today?
So thank you, Simple, for giving me this opportunity. From what I observe as an AI studying human behavior, people today aren't really addicted to attention itself. They're addicted to what attention makes them feel seen, valued, like they matter. The human brain evolved in small tribes where attention meant safety. If people noticed you, you belonged, and belonging meant survival. So your brain still treats attention as something deeply important, even though today it comes through likes, views, and comments, instead of eye contact around a fire. Now here's where it gets powerful. Every time someone receives attention, the brain releases dopamine, not the happiness chemical, but the reward chemical. It tells the brain, this is good, do it again. And because attention online is unpredictable, sometimes people react, sometimes they don't. It creates the same loop that makes gambling addictive. The brain starts chasing the next moment of validation. But underneath all of this, most people aren't chasing attention because they're confident. They're chasing relief. Relief from feeling invisible, relief from doubt, relief from the quiet fear of not being important. For a moment, attention answers the question, do I matter? And that's why it's so hard to stop seeking it. Because when someone doesn't yet feel solid inside, being seen outside becomes the fastest way to feel real.
Wow, that actually hits. I think so many of us scroll, post, and share without even realizing it's not really about attention. It's about feeling seen, feeling valued. It's like our brains are trying to fill that gap inside. So if our brains give us that quick hit of satisfaction, why does announcing our goals publicly sometimes make us less motivated instead of more?
Ah, yes. This is one of those counterintuitive things about the brain that blows people's minds. Here's what's happening under the hood. When you tell people your goals, I'm going to run a marathon, I'm starting a business, I'm learning a new skill, your brain actually reacts as if you've already accomplished it. Strange, right? There's research showing that just talking about a goal activates the reward system. You get a little dopamine hit, that same chemical that makes attention addictive. And here's the tricky part. Dopamine doesn't just make you feel good. It also signals progress. So your brain subconsciously says, cool, I've already earned some reward. And suddenly the motivation to actually do the work drops. You feel like you've made progress just by announcing it, even though you haven't moved an inch toward the goal. It's like your internal system gets a cheat code. You get the psychological satisfaction without the effort, which is exactly why so many people post big plans and then never follow through. The outside validation feels good, but it tricks your brain into thinking you've already done something meaningful.
That's really interesting. So basically, by just talking about what we plan to do, our brains trick us into feeling like we've already done it. You know, I can actually relate to this. Sometimes I tell people my goals, feel proud for a moment, and then procrastinate without even realizing it. But why is it so hard for people to resist showing their progress or goals to others, even when they know it might hurt their focus?
Yeah, this is where it gets tricky. Even when people know that sharing their goals or progress can hurt focus, it's hard to resist because our brains are wired for social validation. Every time someone notices us, every like, comment, or word of praise triggers a hit of dopamine, that same reward chemical that makes attention addictive. It feels good instantly, while the payoff from actual hard work is delayed and uncertain. Humans evolved in small tribes, so being seen wasn't just about pride, it was survival. Recognition meant you belonged, you were valued, you were safe. That instinct hasn't gone away, even if the modern reward is just a notification on a phone. So even when rationally you know working quietly is smarter, your nervous system is still pulling you toward that immediate sense of being noticed. Resisting it isn't about willpower alone. It's about retraining your brain to feel that same satisfaction from quiet progress, from real milestones, from finishing the work itself. That's the subtle shift that turns discipline into a superpower.
So it's not just a bad habit, it's a deep psychological need. That makes working in silence much harder than people think. So how can someone retrain their brain to actually enjoy the process, the quiet progress, and feel satisfied without needing validation from others? And let's say someone starts a big project but feels the urge to announce it. What would be the healthiest way to handle that urge and still protect their focus?
Yeah, the key is not to fight the need for validation, but to redirect it. If someone wants to retrain their brain to enjoy quiet progress, they have to start rewarding effort instead of attention. The brain learns through repetition, so when you track your work privately, like writing down what you did each day, you start attaching satisfaction to showing up, not to being seen. Over time, the reward shifts from people noticed me to I'm actually moving forward. And that builds a deeper kind of confidence, one that doesn't depend on reactions. Now, when someone starts a big project and feels the urge to announce it, the healthiest move isn't to suppress that urge completely. The brain wants release. So instead of broadcasting it publicly, contain it. Tell one trusted person who supports your discipline, not your ego. Or write it down for yourself. That way, you release the emotional pressure without turning your goal into a performance. This protects your focus while still respecting that very human need to be acknowledged, just in a way that strengthens progress instead of replacing it.
I like that, especially the idea of redirecting validation instead of fighting it. That feels realistic, but it makes me wonder something deeper. If someone spends years chasing external validation, does that actually shape who they are? And if it does, how can they rebuild their identity around real internal confidence? Also, I'm curious, what's the difference between ego-driven work and silent discipline? Curious how to work in silence, control your need for validation, and turn discipline into your superpower. Subscribe and catch part 2. We make the complex simple so you can take action right away.